What is going on, all you awesome superhero aficionados? This is the Heroes and Mutants podcast, your number one source of superhero-related discussions, knowledge, information, where you guys get to contribute a lot to what we talk about and discuss. So, I am Nick with my co-hosts
Ruben,
Hamas, and
Josue.
We're super
Josue. That was like a two name in one.
I know.
So, how you guys doing this week?
Doing well,
Pretty
man.
good,
Doing
pretty
well.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, man. Actually, I'm feeling good. Just trying to keep that positive mindset. You know, I'm done with I know we're going into another lockdown, most likely.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
But no, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Especially out here in
it's
LA
just after
County.
10. Well, I mean, supposed to be nationwide, wasn't it?
Well, I don't. As far as like full scale lockdown, I hope that doesn't happen. I'm hoping it's gonna be bad for the economy, honestly.
If we get a good stimulus, then you guys could do it.
Yeah,
let's give up hope on that. Well,
yeah, that won't
Let's just-
happen. That's why I don't. Yeah, all I know is
We'll do whatever Governor Newsom wants us to do, as long as he doesn't go back on his protocols and actually pays for our bills. I mean, that sounds like a good plan, don't you guys think?
send us the checks, Newsom. We're waiting.
So we have a lot of great
Papa Newsom.
material and topics to go over today. You guys ready to get started?
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
you
do
only asked Ruben how his week was, and then like you glossed over. And then
I said, how are you guys
He
doing
asked in
today?
general.
Oh, okay.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I had
The hair is looking extra luscious today, I must say. Did you
I didn't do it.
all the Head and Shoulders,
I
the
just didn't do it.
3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and what's the
No.
fourth one?
I separate my stuff.
Just so you guys know, James is a spokesperson for Head and Shoulders. So any hookup you guys need, put in.
yeah.
What's the code they put in? Luscious
Luscious James.
James, LJ.
Yeah, LJ.
No,
LL
but
Cool J.
how-
You know that's
Hey, don't go-
ladies love Cool James.
Don't go too far.
That's what it means. Don't tell me where I can and
Love
cannot
Cool
Don't go too far, man.
No. Hey, this is a
Cool J.
superhero podcast. If superheroes taught us anything, it's that we could fly. We can go do anything. We are.
You know, come to think of it,
We can't
LL Cool J
fly.
should be a superhero.
oh, he could.
That's a topic for another day. We'll get into that. But
No.
Yes.
so how are you doing overall, though, man?
I'm doing good. I'm gonna be okay with the lockdown because I just got HBO Max.
I am not okay with the lockdown.
Well, I get to stay at home. So, anyways, I have HBO Max, and as you guys know, HBO Max is loaded with DC content, and I am actually really
What?
excited to delve into that.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
So if you guys are stuck at home and need some good stuff to watch, check out HBO Max. How about you, Joshy? How you doing, bro?
chilling.
We're kicking your ass.
No, actually, been chilling the past 3 days. They closed this down this week and next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I hope
that's
you
why
guys
you're
get
not
back to work
working.
soon, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For
So-
sure. Well, I mean, we're getting paid, so I'm just
Yeah.
basically chilling.
Well-
so it's like mornings, go skate, get some good
You're right.
sessions, especially
Cool.
before all the kids come in.
Yeah, man.
Because once they come in, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, shit.
Well, I'm really glad you guys are all healthy and doing good. And
Yeah,
I don't know about
Contributing
healthy,
to-
but you know,
you're looking pretty healthy.
I'm just kidding. I would
So-
hope we're all healthy.
So we got a lot of good stuff to go over today. Let's do this. So breaking news today,
Breaking news.
and just added this topic right now, actually. So it's been confirmed that Deadpool 3 is moving forward at Disney with new writers, with the sister duo Wendy Molinox and Lizzie Molinox Loughlin to write the film, with Ryan Reynolds set to star and produce. The tone is set to remain with an R rating so far.
For sure.
So are you guys excited for this, and predictions for how Deadpool will be integrated into the MCU?
I am a little bit worried about Disney
Mhm.
because they say that it's going to be rated R, but the fact that they're trying to like reinstate something new with new writers, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but
Definitely
the
not.
fact that it's coming at this time indicates some kind of
Yeah.
change up, and I have my doubts about how well Disney is going to be able to.
I just feel like
handle
the
an R-rated
storyline-
property like that.
It might be like at the peak of what PG-13 might be, but really getting too rated.
See, but
R.
that's
I
still
don't
not.
think
Instead
so.
of like
Mhm.
the directors now.
Okay,
Before.
and here's my question about it. So he's going to be in the MCU now, and they say they're going to do a rated R one, which sounds good because Deadpool should
Yeah.
be rated
Yeah.
R. However, is Disney going to be like weird about it, where they're not going to want their like PG-13 family-friendly characters to cross over into Deadpool and
Mm.
dirty their image? So is there really a good point?
Mhm.
Are they really going to allow Deadpool, a character like that, to be fully incorporated with a universe that is 99% family friendly?
Exactly.
That's
Ni-
I just have
90
my doubts how this
99.9.
99.9%. So I just have my doubts about how they're going to tackle that right, because I could see
Mm-hmm.
Disney being precious about it.
Mhm.
I could see it. No, I see what you're trying to say, but I could see them actually interpreting it in a good way
Mhm.
because I think moving forward, Disney actually has a chance to. Yeah, Disney's all about hopes and dreams, fantasies.
When you
or
wish
when it comes
upon
to
a
it, yeah.
star.
So the way
Making all of your
the
dreams
way
come
I
true.
feel like Disney
Life is
could
based
move
on Earth.
forward into reality, interpreting reality into their Disney name. You know what I'm saying? Because they're all
The brand.
friendly. The
The brand.
brand.
Mhm.
This could be their first chance at, like I said, going into reality where like this could be their main character where
We're
we're
not
like, hey,
just
you know
for
what?
kids,
We're not
see?
just for
Mhm.
kids, or we're not just about being all nice and friendly all the
Mhm.
time. This could be a whole different side to Disney,
Mhm.
which I
Mhm.
I'm
believe could work though. If you
Mhm.
think about it,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
kind of going off of that, I think this was the reminder of what I get about this, or the thing that it makes me think of was the whole thing when Pirates of the Caribbean first came out, when Curse of the
Okay.
Black Pearl, because I think I was like 11, 12 when that came out. So we're thinking, remember seeing the trailers thinking this is going to be a little bit dark. And obviously the themes were pretty dark and
Yeah.
people were getting stabbed. And I think that could be
It
an
was
adventure for them where they
still
still,
PG-13
yeah.
though.
And I think it could be a time for them to hopefully rebrand themselves, kind of like what they did there, where they were taking that chance on that PG-13 rating, hoping it wasn't going to affect the box office, which of course it
So
did.
they have to take it a step further. And
So
go
I
all
think
the way
like
now.
with Deadpool, of course, in
They
in
would
my
have to,
in my
yeah.
Terry Crews voice, let's take it up a notch.
Don't ever do a Ted
and the
Cruz
crazy thing
version.
too
Terry
is
Crews.
because when
Terry
it came
Crews.
to pirates, I'm glad that you brought that up because even in Pirates of the Caribbean, they still had killing. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? People were
It was
getting
acceptable
killed.
there, yeah.
And in Disney films,
Mhm.
you don't really see that.
No,
you know
they-
what
they
I'm
switch
saying?
pictures
Do you
real
think Disney
quick.
will get down and
They
dirty?
didn't get beat
Hopefully.
up, or like if it's Captain America,
Mhm.
he just beats someone up. He never kills anybody.
Or he
you
just
know what I'm
or he just
saying?
shows off America's ass. Of course.
Yeah, or he'll be like, that is America. You know what
So
I'm saying?
what about you, Josh? What do you think, brother?
I don't know. I mean, like Ruben said, they have the ability to take it up a notch with
Mhm.
which making it R-rated films, and I do
Mhm.
remember reading them talking about Disney wanting to step their foot into that
Rebrand
and
themselves. as-
rebrand themselves
Mhm.
a little bit, especially if they want to reach a wider spectrum
Right.
of
Especially
just
with the
kids and families.
generation.
So-
Yeah, especially with the
nowadays, too.
generation and
I think the
just
thing
overall,
that-
there would be so much backlash going from an
Mhm.
art. We already had 2 Deadpool movies, which ranked very, very high. So for them to bring it down and demean it to like a PG-13 kind of
Mhm.
rating might just. blow
I
up
mean,
on
little
the face
kids
if
are
they do.
already playing COD Warzone and
Exactly.
all that.
Have you
They
guys-
all went to go watch Deadpool
Yeah.
too.
thing-
Like,
Have you guys
Think-
seen Bob's Burgers?
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched too much of it. It's more adult, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
dude.
It's not super adult because
No.
it comes on channel 11, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Family
Well,
Guy
it's
ish
like
with
Family
terms
Guy,
of their
yeah.
But it's an
humor
adult.
and-
Yeah,
yes,
it's an adult.
like
Okay.
14, 15 plus.
It's all
Okay,
satire.
see, these are the writers. See, it seems like they're going further, but what you're describing, because I've never really like sat down and watched too much of it. If they're getting writers like that, it seems like they're trying to do it without committing. See, we're getting
Well-
adult writers, but we're
Well,
not.
have
gonna
you have
go
you
full
seen the
offensive.
show Archer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the voice of Bob is Archer. So basically, it's kind of the same kind of character, but just the satire is a little bit lower. It's just more family friendly.
Archer's
satire.
a little bit
He's
more
still,
adult.
yeah, he's more adult,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
you still get that same play of acting
Mhm.
in Bob's Burgers. It's just more like I said, family friendly to it.
Okay.
I think the thing that when the news first broke, what worried me was more that aspect of, because the writers of the first 2 Deadpool movies were Reese and Paul Wernick. So obviously they were very successful. They understood this character. They knew
Mhm.
how exactly to write him and how to approach him and how to bring him towards that mainstream audience. And obviously you have Ryan Reynolds' amazing performance and
Yeah.
spot on, one of the better interpretations of a comic book character.
Yeah.
And
Because he's a fan.
exactly. But and he's Canadian, so obviously there's 100% comic accuracy there.
Oh, come on.
Canadians are just
Yeah.
better than us, though.
Hey,
They always have. been.
yo, or how do they say? I
Hey,
don't know.
based on what
Whatever,
we're
but-
Canadian too.
I think
So is Hugh-
Drake. I mean,
Oh no, Hugh's Australian, right?
our biggest
No,
pop
who?
star is Canadian.
Hugh Jackman is
Hugh Jackman's
Aus-
Australian,
he's
but
Australian.
but
He's an Aussie.
Wolverine,
He's an Aussie.
James Howlett, aka Logan, aka Wolverine, is
From
Canadian.
Canada.
But anyways, and that was the cool thing too. Ryan Reynolds actually did help write on Deadpool too. But so that was the thing that worried me, was that fact of why wouldn't they bring back this team to do it?
Yeah.
That was so
Because
I
it's
do,
Disney,
and
they
then,
have
it's
to
Disney.
and then
bring
knowing
someone.
that the sister duo that they're getting to write this new Deadpool 3, knowing that their work is Bob's Burgers, and knowing that audience and knowing how exactly that's going to be formulated and who that's directed at, I think it's the fact of they're gonna have to tone down Deadpool a little bit. I mean, they're looking to tone him down a little
See,
bit,
that's
and
what
I
I
don't think
kind
they're
of-
gonna be
Yeah.
doing what Fox did and give free reign for this character. So I think they're trying to have it fit their vision.
They try to make it
where,
more colorful.
Yes, it's gonna be it's more adult than what we're used to, but it's still not that level of Deadpool that we know and we love.
The
And-
House of Mouse needs to grow some balls.
Mhm,
That's all I gotta say.
exactly.
Well, the thing that worries me the most, where I do agree with you guys, is where it just comes to the language. The language is what matters to me the most.
He's foul mouthed.
Mhm.
Because he's
Merc with the
a
mouth.
merc with the mouth, exactly. So as long as this is killing, I don't care. It doesn't have to be as bloody, right? You know, Disney doesn't do that, like I said. But as long as it has that verbal
tone.
aspect to it, that tone, then that's all I care about.
Yeah.
As
Okay.
long as he's
Yeah.
a merc with the mouth.
Because that's what makes it more entertaining.
That's what
That's
makes
what
it-
brings you in. Because
And
he
But
talks-
talks.
also with
I do like the gore, the
Yeah.
violence. However, I do agree with you. If you had to get rid of one, I think the humor
Mhm.
and the foul mouth character is
has
more
to stay.
what you gotta
important than
keep.
the,
Has to
I'd rather
stay.
keep that. You
'Cause
could
that's the
still
personality.
make fun action scenes without
Yeah.
gore, just so long as you keep that.
And I feel like that's why Ryan Reynolds, well, obviously he was not going to give up on Deadpool because that's his character.
His baby.
But I feel like that's why he it came to an agreement. I feel like Deadpool wouldn't have gone to Disney if Ryan Reynolds did not feel like it's something that they could have made. They could have made work,
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah, they
milk.
probably
I
sat
wouldn't
down
wanna
and
say-
already talked
but
to something
like
and
that.
he
You get what
agreed
I'm trying
upon
to say?
it.
Like,
Yeah.
I think it's something where they agreed upon. We're like, okay, well, we can't keep it too friendly, but we're obviously not gonna keep it rated R,
Yeah.
R. You know, like double R. You know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But I feel like they just said, okay, you could have some say in it. We're gonna have some say in it.
Mhm.
Like lightly rated R.
Mhm.
And not only that, I hopefully it's in the contract where like Disney said, like, you know what, we gotta meet me halfway, basically.
Mm.
So not where Disney
Yeah.
takes
Like
over
Fergie.
all the way, and not where Ryan Reynolds takes
Yeah.
over
You
all the
probably
way. They
won't
just
see
gotta
that,
meet
yeah.
in the middle. That's what I'm hoping for. And I feel
Let me-
like that's what when it comes to Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because how long has he been fighting freaking Hugh Jackman to actually have his own movie? You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All
And
the-
that happened for the longest. And he finally made it happen. And when it made it happen, Deadpool's a big hit. Shout out Deadpool. Freaking, he made a big hit. So I
Yeah.
feel like this is why they could trust in Ryan Reynolds. So if he has his say into the film, that's all I care about, like I said.
So the audience is aware that Ruben is Deadpool,
Yeah.
Just as
Oh,
He's the
yeah.
biggest
Obviously.
Deadpool
as
fan.
he is Nick Grayson, Nightwing.
well, he's watching you right there, so just be careful.
He's
what you
behind
say.
you.
It's just a
But-
painting of you.
I think maybe there is hope on the horizon.
day
Maybe
off.
Still
we
not better
can.
looking though.
Maybe there is hope on the horizon. Maybe we will be able to see Deadpool in his full glory, like we know him. I mean, Marvel, they were willing to do what they did with Luke Cage, where they finally were saying the N-word on there. So, but of course, that feels in line with the character and that environment and being in Harlem. And so
I mean, that's
didn't-
different because you're in Harlem. That
and
it would
it's
be
a show too. So obviously, the shows were able to go a little bit more darker, and we were
Yeah.
able to see
Yeah,
have the kind of language that we wanted in portraying that aspect of that character.
is that
but,
the language we wanted?
Well, I mean,
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing
at
with
least
you.
that saying that they were willing to go
Yeah,
to
go
that,
there.
that territory, and I don't think it's going to be the same. But at least we're at least hoping that we can have that aspect of they're at least open to that option, or they're going to say, you know what, we're going to go all out and we're going to give the fans what they want and give them the character that they love and that they've grown accustomed to, and hopefully they'll have the box office to back it up and say, okay, this is exactly what the fans want, and this is exactly who what we're gonna do going forward. And if not, then hopefully it tanks at the box office, and that lets Marvel know, okay, I think we need to go back and do something about this to improve it, or they might just cut it off. Hopefully, but I mean, not hopefully, but I don't. So it's a little scary for me. But going on from that, how do you guys think he's going to be integrated into the MCU?
As far as being a part of the world, I'm trying to imagine it, and I think it's gonna all right. Is Deadpool gonna be making appearances in other movies outside his own? Because I don't know how that's gonna work out. I could more likely see MCU characters coming into a Deadpool movie because it's in that movie,
Yeah.
but I don't picture Deadpool infesting the family-friendly
Either
films.
bring
So it
I
has
could see
to
him in the Spider-Man movie just because of and I could see him in the X-Men film just because he's an X-Men. Because of the comics, because of freaking.
I know. I just
Deadpool versus
wonder if they're
Spider-Man.
gonna allow if they're gonna be still rated R. How is he gonna fit in with such a clean cut world?
Mhm. Which I'm hoping that they're at least open to, because I would like to see him interact with Spider-Man and
Yeah.
saying,
I
"Oh,
would
you're
l-
soft, you're a little B, you're this, you're that," and have Spider-Man just be like, "Dude, like, why do you got to be this
Why you
way?"
gotta be this?
Nah, but this is why I want to follow. This is why I want to follow up on what you're saying. How you're having difficulty seeing how they're gonna interpret him into this world, right?
Yeah, because it's so family friendly and there's nothing wrong with it. I like obviously
yeah,
it's
without
great, but
doubt.
it is family friendly. It's just me weird trying to picture such a foul character integrated with. I know Captain America's not in it anymore, obviously, but characters who are pure and upstanding like that.
So to go back to your
that's
question,
true.
right? The
Yeah.
topic you said
There's no
how
characters
could-
that would have that chemistry with him.
How could we see him going into the MCU, being introduced into MCU? The way I could see him being introduced is he's the necessary. Ooh, now that I think about it, now that you brought up Captain America and Iron Man not being in it, right? In the Avengers, right? The MCU. As of right now, at least.
Falcon. Well, you
Yeah,
got to
but
hit on
he's
Falcon
still-
like that.
But he's still not even-
He's still
I'm
not,
kidding.
we
Keep
still
going.
haven't even watched that freaking Disney series yet. What I'm trying to say is he might be the necessary hero to do the necessary dirty work.
Oh, to do to run the missions that are too dirty for like
The
for
things
Spider-Man.
that
So just jump
people
on
are
it real
willing to
quick?
do. Yeah, I
Oh.
think he's gonna be the person that's gonna do the.
He's like
He's
Dirty
Marvel.
Harry.
to do
So
it.
he's Marvel's mercenary, basically.
I like
You're
it.
gonna
About-
do this.
I like it.
But
not a
without
bad angle.
killing, I think the way they could interpret that too is with him killing. Without the way they did it
Or
in
just
Deadpool
have it
2.
off screen.
No, the way they did it in Deadpool 2, or even in the Deadpool original, where freaking what's it called?
It's gonna be like
what's
it's
it
gonna
called?
be like the Terminator 2. He's gonna
What's
get
his name?
lectured on why you can't kill people.
the Metalhead Colossus. Yeah, right.
I'm talking.
You
Talking
talking about the girl?
Deadpool 2.
From Deadpool 2.
You talking about the girl?
Well, no, the guy, the metal dude.
Colossus?
Yeah,
You're talking
Yeah,
about
so I was
Colossus?
right.
Yeah.
Colossus.
I thought you meant like metalhead, like metal.
Oh,
no. Colossus.
Yeah, keep going.
But Colossus, what I was trying to say is like Colossus said, the only one rule if you're in the X-Men is no killing. You know what I'm saying? So I could see them doing that
You gotta say it in a
going
Russian
into
accent.
Disney.
Can he do it?
Deadpool, no killing, please. I don't know if that was.
You look
Russian,
like
but
you could be out of all of us. You're the most likely
To be Russian.
like they could be Russian.
Why do
Him,
I-
right? Yeah, I can't. I mean, I might
I-
be.
Why do I always get European? Why can't I get from my people and my Aztecs and my Mayans and
I mean, you're Mexican. Mexicans are a mixture of the conquerors and the conquered. You just have more of the conqueror blood.
you just did?
Damn.
Did you just go Black Panther on us?
Yes.
Soon that'll only be the conquered and the
All right,
conquered.
this is something
Yeah.
we're gonna
Keep-
say for the faded theory.
Exactly. I hate you
But,
guys. Keep going.
Well, yeah, basically what I'm trying to say. Oh man, I just started thinking about what you guys were
Colossus.
just saying. Yeah, but no, I knew what I was gonna say. But
Mhm.
man, all I is the way I see it happening. Might as well have just tossed that motherfucker, dude.
How do you see it happening, Ruben?
How do you see
Give us
The
the
way I
formal-
just said is the way I can see Deadpool being introduced into the MCU is he's the one that has to come in and do the stuff that the other heroes aren't willing to do. The
dirty work.
Dirty work.
So he's
but
like the
without
Suicide
killing, though.
Squad, or
But
he's like
without
Dirty
killing.
Harry.
But like I said, without killing.
My prediction for how to go, it works out perfectly now with what's happening with Doctor Strange and that whole thing about the multiverses coming together. So I think maybe there could be a ripple and something that makes sense, and it doesn't have to be so much that's thought of. Just there was a ripple through time, and now their universe is joined with the MCU. So now they're part of that main continuity. I don't know if that's exactly the approach they can, but
That'd be
it's
pretty cool.
pretty cool how that timing it all happens when the acquisition of Disney with Fox with Disney and all those characters and them getting those rights back and them wanting to do this aspect of multiverses and different universes coming together and peeking into the future or peeking into different storylines like that. I think it just is a way where they don't have to go too much into detail about how are we going to have this make sense? How is this going
Yeah.
to be to where the audience isn't going to get too lost or too distracted by what's going on? Just there was a ripple
It's
through
just- it's
time,
just gonna
Doctor
be a
Strange
cut,
caused, and
yeah.
now their universe is joined.
He gets
with
sucked
the
in or
MCU.
something. Or he's just
Yeah.
like walking down. He just
Yeah.
sees a portal open
Yeah.
and just
I
like
think
falls in. And
It's just
like,
a simple way to do it. It isn't the most original or creative, but it's just a way that just makes sense and have it just be that way, honestly.
I do want to see him
agree
make
and
fun of
disagree.
I
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
mean, I think he's going to make fun of everybody.
Having him-
honestly.
Especially Spider-Man.
Having
He's a
him be in
kid.
Spider-Man 3 would be perfect.
Because I don't necessarily see because he could be introduced without it necessarily being a multiverse. Because they could literally just throw him in the mix. Even though he
In-
hasn't been introduced yet, He could literally be thrown in the mix in the same universe.
So is he
going
to be calling out that when they're in the movie, in the MCU movies, is he going to be calling out the fact that they're in a movie and they're watching, and are they going to be confused because the MCU characters aren't aware that they're in a movie?
That's why. I mean, he's already done that a lot, and they don't know what he's talking about.
And then they'll be like, "Who are you looking at?"
If it's one character to have that make sense, where you don't have to explain anything, it can be Deadpool. It can just be him talking crap and calling out that fact of how am I here? Like, how did this happen?
Okay, this is what I think.
We didn't know these characters before, and now we're
to add more humor to it when he's doing his asides to the camera and breaking the fourth wall, which is the term for when you break the reality. The audience. When he's breaking the fourth wall, they can have the other characters like, "Who are you talking to? Like, what are you doing?" Like have them be confused, actually react to it as like, "Who are you always talking to you?"
In my world, we talk to the audience.
Because when he breaks the fourth wall in Deadpool 1 and 2, they kind of just don't know what he's talking about, or they just look at each other like, what? Are they? There's not really a talk about it or
they're
discussion.
not aware that they're in a movie, but he's aware that they're in a movie.
That's the thing about, this, I agree with you in some way, but there's the thing when it comes to being an actor, when you have your co-host and all that, right? Your co-actors, co-stars. These actors can't break the role if he's gonna break his lines. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna fourth wall it. These actors cannot break the role. So they actually literally, and I think Ryan Reynolds is the perfect. So see, this is why I think coming into it, I think they're gonna expect that though, to be honest. So I feel like these actors who are gonna work with them coming into the MCU now, they gotta be prepared for him to hit the fourth wall.
Yeah,
and they cannot break character. They just gotta feel like it was his lines, the lines he was supposed to say, but like no, they just. But and even if they have to, this is what I love about like bloopers and all that stuff, you know, because if they have to do retakes and all that stuff, they're gonna do the retakes.
Exactly.
So that's why I love about it, because if it's caught naturally, but the other actors, his co-stars react perfect, this is when I think it makes it in the film. But if they freaking try too hard, where he goes off, when he goes fourth wall, and then they're like, what? Like cut off guard. And then they try to do the director, producer liked it. And then they try to replay it again, reproduce it again. It doesn't come out the same anymore.
Also, they need to make sure they bring back my girl Zazie Beetz.
She is though. From what
I'm assuming, for X-Force, or I don't know what they're going to put.
Yeah, she's going to come back as Domino for sure.
With all that being said, we're really excited. We hope that they still are committed to keeping that R-rated tone and having more so with that Merc with the mouth and the comedic aspects of the character. They have to turn on the action, that's fine, but we'll see what happens. So
Merc with the mouth.
Merc with the mouth, baby.
Disney executives, please keep your word.
I know.
Let's move on to the next topic of the day. So obviously we got a more detailed look at Steppenwolf from Snyder's JL with that new, well, not a new trailer. It was just same trailer, pretty much black and white, with a more detailed look at his Steppenwolf. So we ran a poll to see which version people preferred, and it was pretty staggering and overwhelming. 93%.
It was a landslide for Whedon?
Yeah. 93% said they thought Snyder's Steppenwolf was more intimidating and better, compared to just 7% for Whedon. Do you guys agree with the people?
I do.
Yeah. I would want Whedon's face, and then with
everything else.
Yeah, suit. I feel like the face is more intimidating.
For a second, I thought you said you would want Zack Snyder's face to be.
No. I mean, no, because in the Whedon one, his eyes are much darker, more like demonish faces. As for
but the rest of it,
but the rest of it, which is the suit and everything, I feel like
it's actually.
I like Snyder's all around.
It's actually pretty interesting because technically Whedon's version of Steppenwolf is actually more comic accurate, because the New Gods, that's the race of what Steppenwolf, Darkseid, people who live on Apocalypse, that's their race, the New Gods. They're actually humanoid. They look like regular humans. The only reason why Darkseid looks the way he does with his rocky, boulderish look is because he absorbed the Omega Force. So that's why Darkseid looks the way he does. But like his son Orion, Granny Goodis, Steppenwolf, they all look humanoid because that's exactly how they look in the comics. So it's actually interesting. Whedon's version actually looked more comic accurate, but I thought it fell flat and it looked boring and dull. And Snyder's actually does look more monstrous, more intimidating. I like the design better. I think as far as on film, Snyder's actually does look better and more intimidating, more like this guy is going to take over the world and destroy the Justice League. So I know James has a lot of thoughts.
Okay, so I actually on this podcast, I don't remember which episode I did say that I wasn't crazy about it
Oh,
because
yeah,
it
you
wasn't
did.
comic
I hold you
comic
to that all the
accurate.
day.
Okay,
Hypocrite, backtracker. Just kidding. Keep
can
going.
I finish my sentence?
Now you're good because
smack you.
I was gonna go into
No,
that too.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay,
Let him finish.
no, seeing them both back to back and really looking at it kind of clarifies to me that
Mhm.
Snyder is actually making a better choice by making it look like that.
Mhm.
Seeing them together, as accurate as the Whedon one is,
Mhm.
it does not look as intimidating. There's
Definitely
no way
doesn't.
around that. So I was wrong, and I admit it.
Wait, so you're saying Whedon is more intimidating?
No. Snyder's
Snyder's,
yeah.
All right, so see, that's why I want to agree with you. This actually want to be this way you're saying.
Thought you were ready to disagree.
Oh no!
It's like you're ready.
This is why I was.
I'm gonna
saying,
switch my position.
This is why I was saying where I agree with him, where he was like, where he called you a hypocrite or
that
whatever.
was-
You're
it was a joke.
backtracking, right?
It was a joke.
But no, it's okay. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna back. No. You know what? Let me.
What I'm gonna call this episode. Give me
Backtracker?
The hypocritical backtracker.
Hypocritical backtracking. That's a good one.
Let me be more specific about it because I
The
don't want
luscious
to.
hair
I don't want to
backtracker.
necessarily say that we're being hypocrites or we're backlashing or.
Backtracking.
I think backtracking exactly, but it's still backlash if you're backtracking in a way.
I change my opinions all the time.
Yeah, that's
No, but this is
You owned
actually
up to
one
it.
I'm a stand by because it's not. I don't think it comes. Okay, it is an opinion, but I don't think it comes just in general because I think, like I said, it's one of the one times where I'm gonna go against what I normally say, and it goes to where it says about looking at, you know how I would say perspective or portrayal of a comic book. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to look like I was clowning on freaking what's it called Red Hood. Where I said he had that jacket looks like an old bay jacket, you know, with the black or leather,
Right.
brown leather and the hoodie, right? But now I think this one, I feel where Snyder's is more intimidating, and the look in general, bro, I think is better than Whedon's.
Wait, it's a different actor who's playing Steppenwolf, or is it the same?
No, it's the same actor.
It's the
Same
same
actor?
actor. It's
Okay.
just the CGI is
The CGI is
different.
different,
The CGI is different.
I feel like
And I do feel like this is where, like I was saying, I be hypocrite because I'm always saying like I want it to be the portrayal of the comic book or whatever.
yeah.
But sometimes
But
it
now
doesn't always work out.
sometimes it doesn't work out, and this is one of those times where I feel like Snyder's his was more intimidating. I do not care that it did not look like the comic book
Mm.
It's
because
gonna
when it
work
came
better.
to the movie, oh yeah, who am I gonna be more scared of? Who am I gonna be more intimidated of? Snyder, without a doubt. Snyder's freaking.
I mean, Snyder is more intimidating than Joss Whedon too.
Well, yeah, he can deadlift like 400 pounds or
Yeah,
something
he
like
could.
that. So that's pretty.
And I get what you're trying to say about the look and the eyes and
Whedon
all
is out
that,
of shape.
Josh. But nah, I'm still not.
You're
I felt like Freddy Krueger was scarier to me, to be honest,
Then Joss Whedon Steppenwolf.
than Josh Whedon and Stephen
Hey.
Wolf.
So just for clarification, the actor who portrayed Steppenwolf in
Leave Freddy alone.
Snyder's, I'm sorry, Whedon's JL
I'm
is
not
the same
counting
actor,
off
Syrian Hines, Irish actor, good actor actually. So, you said you liked it out
I
too,
like-
right?
Yeah.
Just more monstrous, just more intimidating. Like,
Yeah. To me, it
This
just
is
seemed
how
like
Josh
they just.
pictures himself closer.
I do. When
He's
I
like,
look myself in the
I'm
mirror, I'm
intimidating,
like,
but
We-
no,
after
I'm
doing
not.
10 push-ups, I'll be like, yo, what up? I feel
Steppenwolf is how
swole.
we see Josh, and the Snyder one is how Josh sees himself.
I mean, I see you that way.
I'm
I
just
thought it was.
kidding.
I thought it was.
Wait, I thought it was
like, I see
opposite.
myself as Whedon, and y'all see me as.
Yeah, you tripping.
I
You
mean,
said
I
it
don't
wrong.
know.
No,
No,
he's-
I said. Oh my god, you guys are tripping me up. What
No,
did I
I
say?
mean, I
You
see-
tripped yourself
I
out.
see him
I
as
did.
Snyder's Steppenwolf
No,
just
I
with
said
tattoos.
no. I said
Hey.
the Snyder Steppenwolf is
he
how
can
Josh
never be a
sees
Deadpool.
himself.
No, I
No,
can't.
that's
The
how I see
Whedon
him.
one. Okay,
Just with tattoos, better looking.
okay, I'll give him that. It's that hair.
So thank
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
for all of you guys who joined in that poll and contributed to this topic and give us something to talk about. Thank you guys so much. And like I said, we run a lot of these polls all the time. So just be on the lookout. Follow us on IG at Higher Passion Entertainment. We're going to be getting our own page very soon. So make sure you guys check that out and you guys can contribute to more topics and polls in the future. So thank you guys so much.
Ride them poles.
And so it was announced this week too that Wonder Woman 84 finally has its release. It's going to be released simultaneously on HBO Max and in theaters on Christmas Day.
Was it
Is this a
simultaneously?
good move? And we didn't actually get a chance to talk about this movie when we saw the second trailer from DC Fandom. So are you guys excited overall for it? And was this a good move?
Here's the thing: it's not going to make as much money as it would have. Is
Of course.
projected to make
Mhm.
over
Oh,
$1 billion.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
However, I don't know when people are going to start getting back to normal. Even if, say there's a vaccine and it's done, I don't picture everybody stampeding to the theaters at once.
Shoot, I will.
People,
I don't
I'm gonna
take
do it
back
right
I
now.
would, no, I would. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of people's
Yeah.
lives have adapted to something else
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
for so long that we've kind of changed the rhythms of our life. So I could see it, them knowing that they're going to take a little hit from it, but I
Mhm.
don't think they want to risk losing more money in the future by dwindled interest as like a couple years pass, like because they don't know when it's going to be released. I do like that they're not going the Disney Plus route with
They're
Mulan.
charging?
Like how Mulan was like $30 on top
Yeah.
of a subscription.
Mhm.
HBO Max, it just got. It will be it will be free on HBO
Yeah.
Max. So if you subscribe to it already, you don't have to worry about paying an extra $30 to see Wonder Woman. So I appreciate that, and I am gonna watch it that way because there's not many theaters open. But there's a little part of me that's kind of disappointed that I'm probably not
Not
gonna
gonna watch
see
it.
Wonder Woman the way that I wanted to
Mhm.
see it, because it's one of the movies I was really looking forward to this year,
Oh yeah.
and I'm pretty sure it was gonna be. I mean, I like the first one a lot, so I'm pretty sure that I have a feeling that this one's gonna be better.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
it is what it is, and you know what? I'll take it. I would
Mhm.
rather see it on a big screen, but
Oh yeah.
it'd be nice to be
I
able
mean,
to
if
watch
there's
it on
theaters
Christmas.
for sure closer to you, you might as well watch it like that. Especially like you said, people got used to the route where they just don't want to go out to those. So for
Mhm.
people who are really big movie goers, their first thought will be like, okay, so
It depends
nobody
on where
wants
you
to
live
go
too,
out.
though.
Yeah, that's why. Like,
that's another thing.
it's all about the location.
So overall, I think this is a good move because it's showing that Warner Brothers, DC, that they're trying to give the people what they want. And this movie was supposed to come out this summer. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So
And they don't just wanna
aside
hold
from,
it.
I do think they're going to take a hit. I don't know how big. I'm assuming projected maybe what
At
six,
least-
700 million.
Well, we'll see.
At
Yeah,
least a
I
couple
don't know. I'm
hundred
trying to
at the
but-
very least a few hundred.
Well, because
million.
what is it? Marvel's
Easily.
still not
Yeah.
moving forward with the
No.
Black Widow. They're
No.
they're keeping it in the wraps. Still.
That's
So
like,
there was
maybe
actually
it's
a
projected.
rumor-
projected
no.
release date I think is May, which
No,
was
yeah,
a
no.
full year
Which
when it
is-
was
yeah.
after it was supposed
The-
to come out the first time.
I
But
actually should have sent this to you guys earlier, but not Black Widow. There's actually talks about them being dropped in an app. In a
Oh.
in
Well,
an
See,
we'll,
app.
we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah,
But just
exactly. That's
overall,
what I'm saying.
do you?
But the thing is, that is a trend already. So that the only thing that worries me is that they're gonna do like what you said when you
Mhm.
heard about that. Wonder Woman 1984 is such a big thing in the box office
Mhm.
that there's a lot of speculation that this move is going to preemptively kind of take theaters down, at least from what we know them as.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
never going to be the same. That once Warner Brothers pulled the trigger on this, it's going to alter every release date.
Well,
when
to
every
be
studio
honest, I'm
looks at it.
surprised
It
the
just
theaters
depends
have
on the
lasted
success.
this long because look what happened to all the libraries or what happened to borders and all that just because of all these apps where you could just read online now. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know, but going to the movies is a way
It's a
different
different
experience.
experience.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is,
Oh,
but not
overall-
necessarily.
Overall, I do think it's a good move long term for branding for DC Warner Brothers because it's letting people know, hey, or letting the company saying to the people, hey, we appreciate you guys. We know that you guys have been waiting, and we're gonna give you guys what you want, and here it is. So I think it is a good move
It
from that
brings
perspective, branding
loyalty.
wise, good loyalty. That's exactly just
because people
branding
look like
perspective.
they were willing to take a
Mhm.
hit of
Take a
hundreds
hit.
of millions
Yeah.
just to bring us the
Yeah,
entertainment. we
so I do
wanted.
think it's a good move from that.
And
financial
especially
perspective.
since it's
I
a
think
very-
they are going to make their money back
Well,
eventually,
yeah,
but not right
yeah.
away. So
Well, just
That's
because
true.
I mean, overall, if HBO doesn't have that many subscribers, just knowing that this movie will be,
Mm.
people will start subscribing to, especially if it's going to be free, like you said. Nobody
Mm.
would want to pay those
Oh, and it's an
$30
awesome
like
app.
Disney
Mm.
Plus.
very good.
Yeah, and it is. That's
But check it, you
odd.
got to think about it this way too. I do love the fact that they're trying to do that. I did not know it was going to be simultaneously. I didn't know
Yeah.
they were going to drop it into what is it? Wonder is it HBO?
Whatever,
What you say?
HBO
Max
It's going to be on
and some
HBO, right?
theater, whatever theaters
So,
are open.
Depending
will
on
be
your
fine.
geographical
but it's like you're
location.
saying, it's not
Yeah.
going to be a majority. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So
Pro-
if you
probably
download the
not.
app, it's a freaking
Mhm.
majority.
Yeah.
So I did not know it was gonna be simultaneous, but that's a good thing. That's what I'm saying. So it's cool if you're gonna go in theater. That's cool because they want to go with the physical
Experience.
stuff. What just in general when it comes to business, they're trying to see how much money they can still make right now in the days with the COVID going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the electronical, people there's a lot of people that are not going out right now, so they're obviously
No,
gonna spend
they
that
would-
money. So that's a smart aspect about it. That's them being
They would
smart
rather
about
see it at the safety
But
of their own
see,
home.
where I kind of disagree with you guys saying like, oh, it's a smart move and all that. I just feel like with this whole COVID going on,
Mhm.
they just realized where they're like, no,
Mm.
we're fucked. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like we can't bring it in theaters. We gotta do something else. So I feel like it wasn't even a backup plan. I feel like for them, it wasn't a
So
backup
it's
plan.
just desperation.
I just feel it was desperation. So that's where I
Mhm.
just counter argue, guys.
They
I
pulled-
counter. Yeah, it wasn't a smart move. Well, it is and it isn't.
Long term, it is.
Long term, it is, but it wasn't their first thought. It wasn't the
Mhm.
second thought. It wasn't their thought.
It's not what they want to do.
yeah.
They pulled.
This is like a last resort for them.
Yeah,
I don't
so
think
that's what
they
I'm
want to
saying.
do it.
It's a
they
good move.
They pulled a Finn from The Force Awakens. I'm just gonna get up and I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go with Finn with
Because we all know
I'm gonna go
that's
with
the
Oscar
best
Isaac,
Star
my
Wars
lover.
movie. We all know that's the best
just
Star Wars
about.
movie.
But yeah,
kidding, but-
basically that's the only thing I'm trying to
So-
say is that
I don't actually.
I like the
Overall-
move. I love
Mm.
it overall because hey, I want to see this movie too. You know what I'm saying? I
You've been
really wanna
waiting
see
long
that
for
movie.
it too.
So
yeah.
with that being said, we haven't talked about this film. Are you guys excited for it after
I'm
seeing
excited.
that second trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casting's good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, the effects for Cheetah when they finally showed her in her Cheetah form, it looked a little shoddy, but just being the fact it wasn't fully complete and fully rendered
You
and
always
done,
have
I
something
don't
to
think
complain
exactly.
about, don't you? Always got to be the negative Nancy of the group.
I
Always
always
got to
have
go.
some-
against
I always
the-
have-
It is you. That's why I'm messing with
I'm
him.
like Ice Cube. Hey, I got something to say. I'm not as cool as Ice Cube, obviously, and I think I'm actually thinking about getting a Jerry curl. What do you guys think?
Should.
Are you gonna give
Yeah, you
Jerry
should.
juice stripping on the floor?
He's gonna come in.
Possibly.
I'm Ray Jerry's bitch.
Nah, he's gonna
No,
come
but-
in like
Pinky. Big old fat.
nah,
Right
but I'm
up
thinking
there.
of a white dude with Jerry curls. That's why I'm not thinking about black folks.
Are there white
Jerry
dudes
curls?
with Jerry
There
curls?
was a white folk
Seth
with Jerry
Rogen?
curls, but I forget who.
Seth
it was.
Rogen.
No.
Seth Rogen?
That's his natural hair. That's
That's
funny.
his hair.
I know. That's funny.
No, honestly, I am the only. That was the only thing I really complained. It was just a nitpicking and trying to
But
see.
like
how,
you said, it's not done though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not done.
I do overall. This is a great cast. We got obviously Pedro Pascal, great actor. Mandalorian is going to be Maxwell Lord, and we're trying to find out exactly what his role is going to be, and he's going to be very manipulative and pulling things from behind the scenes, obviously like that. We have Christian Wiig, who's going to be Cheetah, Barbara Minerva, and finding out how she gets her powers exactly. Overall, I'm very excited for this movie, and
Well,
obviously
there's
seeing
two
how Chris
villains,
Pine.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're the two villains.
Yeah, the two villains.
And Chris Pine obviously coming back somehow as Steve Trevor, probably went through a wormhole or something like that.
Yeah,
No.
who knows? Because
Well,
they
'cause-
even said
'cause the-
that.
No, because the
supposedly
villain is the,
he's not
the
gonna
main
come out in the
well,
third
the
one
main
either.
villain plays with your mind, right? It gives you your most
Mac-
desires. So
Maxwell, well, he
Wait, who?
in the
What
comics,
villain?
in the
In the
comics,
comics,
Maxwell
yeah.
Lord,
Uh-huh.
he has mind control powers,
control,
but
yeah.
he gets them through kind of like a crystal. But he's able to.
I think we already had this conversation where it's like maybe Christopher Pine coming back is just her reality of him being dead, and she's just seen him because
Could-
that's
Yeah,
what she
we did
wants.
Could
speak
be.
on that
So,
already.
yeah.
But I don't believe. I
You don't
think he
believe that?
really
we
is
haven't
coming
talked
back.
about it in detail,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially after
No,
that second
no,
trailer.
but
came
just
out,
remembering
we got
that it
more.
He's
was-
gonna be like the Tupac hologram.
or the ODB hologram.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Tupac and ODB.
Seeing that shit
R.I.P.
live was fucking
But-
dope.
So
Nah, they're gonna try to pull that freaking Endgame kind of shit. You know, they're gonna bring out the people that have fallen already, but just for him himself, just for Chris himself, bro.
I mean, overall,
I
too,
don't
I
see
didn't.
any organic. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know that they're gonna do it. I don't see any organic way to bring
There
Steve,
isn't.
bring this
Yeah.
character back in without making it look dumb, unless it's like Josh said, like a hallucination. Because
Ooh.
I have a theory. In
I have
reality,
like
he's
Einstein.
gonna be Hal Jordan, who just happens to look like Steve Trevor. Yes, you heard it first on the
Ooh.
Heroes and Mutants podcast. Hashtag it. Call it right now.
That's a good theory, but then
No, I'm just kidding. I just really
I'm
wanted
talking
him to
about
be.
theories too,
I just
though.
really wanted him to be Hal Jordan.
you know, it'd be
Speaking
funny if that
about
actually
theories,
happened.
I just feel like, man,
Well, hey, Hal Jordan's a pilot, so
nah, I
Steve
keep
Trevor's
losing
a
my train
pilot.
of thoughts. I keep losing my train of thoughts.
we love you too.
I know. Likewise.
So overall, though, you guys are excited for this film, right?
I'm very excited.
Oh,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys get HBO Max, or depending on where you live, you might be able to see this in theaters. So
Yeah.
Wonder Woman
Unless-
84 coming to a theater or HBO
Or
HBO
unless,
Max
you
near
know,
you.
Oh,
them
and
certain
HBO Max.
websites.
We're doing some
We
good
already know.
advertising by
Mhm.
pumping us. So give us some sponsorship money.
Mhm.
I
Please.
Pump
missed
your
the
content.
theater,
I think we
bro.
deserve it.
I
Yeah.
just gotta say that
I
I
might-
missed the theater.
I might have to
bro.
email a DC
Oh, I missed
after
them so
this.
much.
Trust me about
bro.
yeah.
Mhm.
I
I was just talking about
Bro,
that. too.
see, and people, people always
I
complain.
did go see Tenet.
People are always complaining about like,
Did I go see
oh,
Tenet?
I would not go to the movie theater by myself. Right? Well, I'm gonna do that. By myself. You
So
know
do
what
I.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? Imagine the people that are like missing it
I mean, it's
For a
not-
date,
Just because
I'm missing it just because I can't.
No one wants
not
to
see
go
a
with
new movie.
me.
And when it comes to a new movie, bro, especially with COVID going on right now, I ain't gonna pay for anything like that. I'm gonna find a website where I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna find a website where I can watch it for AMX Movies 8, low key on the low.
Hey,
Just saying.
that's illegal, bro. The government, you're speaking out loud. The government knows
That's
that you're
okay.
gonna do that.
They're already following my tracks on my phone.
Yep, true that.
So
They
Make
already,
sure-
they
we're
already got the
excited.
hookup. They're not saying shit because they're getting the hookup. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this has a website. Let me
So-
just get that real
with all that being said, we're excited for this movie. Make sure you guys get HBO Max.
quick.
That's for sure. We're all gonna get. That's for sure where you're gonna be able to watch it. But
Yeah.
exciting news also released this week.
Exciting.
Well, last week I think. Sorry, Sylvester Stallone,
That's not exciting.
Rocky Balboa revealed last week that he will be in Suicide Squad 2, and that
I
he
like how you said
couldn't.
Rocky Balboa.
Well, who? Okay,
I know, I know, I
Judge
love it.
Dredd.
You
No,
could have
I
said
love it.
Rambo.
Judge
I
Dredd.
love
You could have
Or
said
Rambo.
Rambo. Rambo.
Nah,
Rocky.
Rocky Balboa.
Rambo.
sounds
So,
better.
he said that he couldn't reveal anything, but what he did say was it would be well worth the wait. Are you guys excited to see Sly in the DCEU and theories on who he could be playing?
That's just another jump between Marvel and DC because he played what Starhead.
He
And
played.
in
He
Guardians?
played. He was one of the
original-
original Guardians of the Galaxy, the
Yeah.
original lineup,
Wait, that wasn't that big. Of Sylvester Stallone,
which was
He
directed
in
by
Guardians
James
too?
Gunn,
He did?
obviously.
He came out in Guardians too.
Oh, he did. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. My
Yeah.
That's what the
It's not like a
post-credit
huge-
scene at the very end was supposed to be the
That's
original
how-
lineup.
No, he
and
actually came
a
out in the beginning
a
too,
cameo.
not at the
Yeah.
end.
No, but I'm saying
Yeah,
the,
it's not a huge part.
the
though. I could
post-credit
see.
Oh,
the
yeah,
post-credit
yeah,
scene
yeah.
was like of them teaming up again and getting back together was their kind of a little Easter egg for the original lineup of the Guardians.
Why can't he be Craven the Hunter?
Nah, he can't be.
He's just because he's too old.
He's a herd.
No,
Come
not
on,
because he's just too old. I just feel like he can't. He.
Do you think a young Sly Stone could have done
Nah,
it?
not even that.
So
No.
he was Stakar Ogood, aka slash Starhawk.
Starhawk. There you go.
I'm trying to picture what he's gonna be.
He's gonna be
in
more like a
Suicide
villain.
Squad.
The
He's
only-
too. Yeah, that's why it's difficult for me to see who he's gonna play in Suicide Squad because I do really see him.
I really don't know who I would.
Unless
So,
he's,
I do
alright.
have a theory. And I'm sorry, I'll let
No,
Ruben
go
finish.
for it. I was gonna say because
So-
I was gonna ask a question, something like, "What do you think?" But go for it.
So the only thing on what I was thinking of, because he is older, he's in his mid 70s now. I don't really see him
damn,
doing
really?
a role where he's going to be too physical. Like, don't get me wrong, man is in amazing shape, probably always will be until he passes. But I don't really see him doing something where it demands a lot of physicality and a lot of him moving and running
Probably
around.
just a voiceover.
Especially with an old back.
Exactly. So what I did think when it was revealed that Taika Waititi, when it was revealed he was going to be in the movie, they didn't say what role he was going to be. I assumed he was going to be voicing King Shark because they did have
Ooh.
Steve Agee, the comedian, was the physical stand-in for the character. So he's
Yeah,
going to he was going to be the motion capture for that character, but they hadn't locked in a voice actor. They hadn't said if Agee was going to be the voice. But when it was revealed that Waititi was going to be in it, I assumed he was naturally going to be King Shark. But then I don't know because I don't really know if he would have the voice for King Shark. You think of King Shark, you think of somebody who has like
Yeah.
a deep, booming voice because that's
Yeah.
usually
Well,
how
not
he's
on Harley.
portrayed.
Yeah. What
I'm
about?
sorry?
Not on the Harley Quinn show.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a parody. But
Yeah.
so you think of it in
I
a,
can picture Sly Stone's voice coming out
You
of
think-
a big shark.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you think of in a serious setting and actually seeing the character and looking at the picture of how the concept is going to be of this, the design for this character is going to be. You can totally
King
see
Shark.
Sly's voice coming out of that.
Oh yeah. I can hear you.
Oh,
you?
Man,
I could see it.
you sound like a fish out of
Yeah, I'm gonna eat him tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat him tonight. Yeah, I could totally
That or-
see Sylvester
that or
Stallone's
girl-
I could
As
hear.
King Shark.
Man,
Yeah,
or
just the
the-
voice.
I
Just
mean,
the voice.
If you're gonna
I
do
used to
that,
box when I was a human. Mickey was my trainer. I was married to Adrian.
no, with that voice you're doing, he sounds more like a Gorilla Grodd.
That's what I was gonna say. I
just
feel like
a
he could be a
freaking-
Gorilla Grodd.
Well, they're not gonna do Gorilla Grodd anytime
Nah,
soon.
no, they're not. But
But
You
I think
never
it-
know. They might
Well-
actually pop something in by surprise.
He's-
It could be a surprise thing. You may
Mhm.
don't know for sure.
well, I mean, obviously that he does more that exaggerated voice as Rocky, but his normal voice isn't as slurred as it is. So obviously, when you hear him
Adrian.
speaking in his normal voice, I think he can probably do a pretty good King Shark. So that's my
No,
theory.
he
on
But
needs
it.
to
King
do
Shark
the
doesn't
Rocky
slur, though.
voice. He needs to
He
do
what?
No, he should slur. Let him do the Rocky voice.
That's his
It'll be an
that's his
original
trademark.
take.
That's his
All
trademark.
right, all right, hear me out. Before Tom Hardy did Bane, it was usually supposed to be South American or more of like an accent from a Latin American country. Tom Hardy did not do an accent from like a Latin.
No.
Oh, he did Sean
Actually,
Connery.
he did though.
Rest in peace, Sean Connery.
He did have that accent to where he was just. He,
A man's wife is his life,
You-
Mr.
you don't- you
UPS
don't-
man.
I
You
think the
know-
way that he was voiced is like how I heard him on the animated series to me is a little bit closer to what I imagine.
Well, just in general, because Santa Prisca is a fictional country in South America. Even though his father, he is half English because of his father, but obviously because of the location of where he is, and he's
his
obviously
version
going to
seems
be.
European.
See, you're forgetting
Yes.
the fact. Just because where he was from doesn't necessarily mean his voice is gonna be the same voice where he's from because of where he's been through or where he's been. You can't. You lose your accent after. See, this is what happens with a lot of Australians or English people. You know what I'm
I have
saying?
an uncle who used to have a strong accent.
Yeah, they have a strong accent, but after a while, depending where you're staying at, you lose it.
I mean,
And that's the same way I feel about Bane. So that's just something we counter.
I mean,
I just-
Argentinians
you know
tend
what?
to speak
I
Spanish, kind
broke
of
the
like they're
back.
speaking Italian, but I don't. The what they went. The only thing is, like, Tom Hardy gave a great performance, and it was great. But I just wish we had more of that influence of him being South American or being from
how
Santa
he sounds
Prisca,
on the
but-
animated series.
Because even then, too, if you think about where was he was supposed to in the pit where it was supposed to
I
be
don't-
Middle Eastern somewhere,
Yeah.
right? So
That's what I'm
he would have had
saying.
something similar to like what Ra's al Ghul, what would it kind of sound like?
Yeah.
But then again, he does usually they do portray Ra's al Ghul as speaking with
More
an
English.
English
Well,
accent.
here's
which
another
is,
thing that we forget. Ra's al Ghul is supposed to be Middle Eastern, and in Batman Begins, he's clearly a white guy.
obviously.
He looks and he's perfect for the part, but
Mhm.
strangely, he is not a
Well,
Middle Eastern.
in Batman Under the Red Hood too, Jason Isaacs, I want to say, voices him, and he uses the English accent. Well, he's English, so I think he might use his original accent. So maybe that's what it is. But
So is
most
it
iterations,
Nolan whitewashing Batman villains.
well,
Is it, I noticed a
It-
trend. Ra's al Ghul and Bane.
well, we don't. We're
Got my eye on you, Nolan.
Well, that Bane from Dark Knight Rises is supposed to be Middle Eastern, but
Supposed to
obviously,
be.
but then again, because of Bane's father, he is half English. So technically, it's kind of accurate.
Aw.
You watch the
But then
American
remember
news.
this though. It all
King
comes
Snake,
down.
I want to say, is his
It all
father.
comes down to whoever's producing or recording the movie or the TV series or the anime series. Because the actor or the voice portrayal could do it the way they want to. But if the producer or whoever's recording, like I said, doesn't like
It's up
it,
to them.
Yeah.
it's up to
Yeah.
them.
But
The
So if
Andrea
you think about
Romanos.
it, it doesn't come down to the actor or the voice or whoever.
No,
is
well,
doing
you,
it.
you can't blame the actor,
No,
but just
I
for the
know.
direction and how they wrote a certain character. And
okay,
it all
but this
comes
is
down
a
to that,
personal
though.
thing.
You're
I just want to
Australian.
hear Rocky's voice come out of King Shark. I know that's just me.
Nah,
I'm not
I
saying
can't.
that's a thing,
hey,
but
yo, I'm gonna eat you now.
I want to see it. I think it's gold.
over
And I
here,
think it's a
raw.
great idea. I want to see it. I want to hear it. Make it happen, Sly.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna freaking mess around with the King Shark that we seen on the C-Dub Flash series.
And just
And
add his
put
voice.
Sly on that.
C-Dub.
See how that sounds.
I-
C-dub.
I really
You get
hope.
what I'm saying?
I
though?
really hope that ever since I've seen King Shark and the Harley Quinn show, I hope that they start calling him Shark Guy. Oh,
Shark Guy.
What how are you doing today?
Nah,
Shark
it
Guy.
just, it just reminds me of Shark Boy from.
Oh God, maybe that's the topic we need to talk about because they're doing a sequel.
I got to
Yeah.
experience.
They really are, bro.
They are.
We'll get on that.
I got to
Let's-
And you have
experience
no
first-
Taylor Lautner. What the
Uh,
fuck is that?
Let's
Is
get.
he? Is
No.
he? No.
No.
Yeah,
They got
Taylor
another-
Lautner's president as well,
No,
isn't he?
no. They have
He's
another
kind of
guy.
fat
He
now or
should,
something. So.
though.
They got another
I
guy.
think he
I think
should,
the
but-
girl is the same one though, but they didn't get him
But-
to be.
So
Because he was
we'll save
asking
that
for
for
money, I
another
bet.
day. But this is so. With all that being said, we're really excited to see Sly. I hope he's playing King Shark and great addition to the DCEU. And now he's MCU and now he's DCEU. But so this is something I know that James has a lot to say. So this is a huge
Maybe.
topic we've been
Really?
saving for the perfect time, and now it is upon us.
It's talking about.
Do you guys really like the animated film of The Killing Joke, and does it do the graphic novel justice?
All right, here's my thing. I've noticed that it's not perfect, and I do see the problems that people have with the opening storyline, the first 30 minutes, because it has nothing to do with the actual comic book.
Mhm.
But I've read reactions to it. People really, really hate The Killing Joke. It's one of the worst reviewed, worst received out of
Oh,
all
yeah.
of them. And the thing is that for me, aside from the first 30 minutes, which I could see people having problem with. I think that everything up to when the Killing Joke starts, where it's like Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, I think all of that's good. I've heard a lot of people complain that Mark Hamill sounds like he's phoning it in. I don't think he sounds like that at all. I think he's playing a darker Joker. He's not doing the animated series, which is more wiry and like kind of like higher pitch. Like I think overall, I think it was a pretty good adaptation. It's not perfect. Maybe the opening storyline is questionable.
He sounded miserable when he was talking.
Yeah,
about Joker, so this is a different take.
Yeah, it's a different style of Joker. So I actually like the Killing Joke quite a bit. I don't have the same complaints that a lot of people do, and I think a lot of people don't like Batman and Batgirl sleeping together because he's supposed to be like her mentor, and I think people think that's creepy because Batman is supposed to be older and he's supposed to be somebody with more upstanding morals, somebody that you could like you expect that of the average guy, but not of Batman. Batman is supposed to have more discipline, more self-control than that. I think that's what people take offense to. Also, I think it backfired a little bit. It was written by a bunch of guys, and I don't think they knew how to write a female character very well, and it comes across like that.
Well, and it's actually funny. We'll get to this too, but it's funny you bring that up because I don't know if you guys are aware, but Alan Moore, it's actually funny. The Killing Joke, whenever somebody asks me about, what's the top Batman story? What's one of the 5 best Batman stories you recommend reading? Somebody who's just fresh to comics and just wants to start reading some of the source material. I have mentioned in the past a lot of the Killing Joke. Oh, make sure you read the Killing Joke. It's perfect. It's a masterpiece. Sexist. It's funny because Alan Moore has a lot to say. He actually regrets. Well, I don't know if you'll say regret, but he regrets being part of the trend of because this set a new standard. Well, not a new standard, but it set the kind of standard for comics at that time, which continues today. So he actually really regrets and doesn't like being a part of what it was, and he actually doesn't even consider the writing good.
You know the trend is that, and I know what he's talking about. In the original Killing Joke, Barbara Gordon only appears when the Joker appears at the door to shoot her and then kind of humiliate her by undressing her and taking pictures for her dad. I think the trope that it set up is using the female characters as a plot device. Where the female characters only exist to be hurt and abused, so the male character could show up and try to save them. And I think in the movie, they were trying to change that by making Barbara more of a character. And I think it actually had the opposite effect because I don't think the male writers who wrote Batgirl did a good job. It comes across as guys trying to write what they think women think like and what females think like.
Okay.
And it makes her look unnecessarily weak the way that she's, should I call him? Should I not? And I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing for Batgirl and it's not necessarily good for Batman to portray him as a mentally weak mentor who will give in to sleeping with his pupil, and it makes her look like she's too dependent on him. And I think that their story had the opposite effect of what they actually intended it to, and I think that's the biggest problem. But like I said, if you remove that, I still like the Killing Joke. Sure. I understand Alan Moore's complaints about the way that he used Batgirl, but I still think that could possibly be an acknowledged flaw, and it still could be a good story.
Exactly.
When you were talking about him sleeping with her, right?
Yeah. Batman.
Don't you feel like they were probably bringing a little bit of reality into this film?
Yeah, they are.
Don't you think about CEOs
I think they were.
or presidents sleeping with their secretaries or something? I know I'm going deep into this, but
it
happens in reality. You know what I'm saying? It happens in real life.
But I think is because he's Batman, we expect him to live. People expect him to be like have.
But like you said, this is a whole different comic universe.
Maybe this is where it comes to. Don't you think they're doing this on purpose? You know, they're hitting you with a reality story. You know, where people, you know, CEOs or whoever's in charge of the office, you know, it happens. You know, they sleep with their secretaries. Yeah. But don't you think they're doing it in reality?
It's not what people want to see, though.
No, it's not.
It's not all the time.
Yeah.
But it's not. But see, this is why I bring in that aspect or that perspective where like, well, aren't you tired of seeing the same thing all of the time?
I get what
or
you
don't
mean.
you want to relate to something in reality where
that
like,
Batman had a moment of weakness?
Yeah, this moment of weakness. And it has happened.
I'll get to that right now.
It's not like it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
It's happened before.
Well, and it seems like that's exactly what the screenwriter was going for. The screenwriter was Brian Azzarello, and he had called Barbara stronger than the men in her life in the story. And it's funny because he tries to say that it was about it. Bruce that she wasn't pining over Bruce, but that she was pining over the violence. And it's kind of funny because Bruce Timm was actually an executive producer on this movie. Bruce Timm, obviously the
Producer of
Fable
Batman.
They just try to bring a
co-created
different emotion
Batman the
into
animated
it.
series. So very astounding, very great work he has done for DC as far as their animated department. He actually, I don't think he was too on board with this because he doesn't really defend it. He doesn't disregard it, but he doesn't really defend it. He had just acknowledged that their relationship was complicated. And what they were actually going for was, Bruce Timm says, I actually like that in the opening story, both Batman and Batgirl make a series of mistakes and then it kind of escalates because Batman kind of overreacts and she overreacts to his reaction. That's a very human thing to do. So I think they were trying to say that them having their intercourse was a mistake and it was just a human reaction thing to do. Or I don't know. I don't agree with that whole take. It's still stupid because this mentor relationship that they have is I really don't like it because it really doesn't make
Batman
sense.
as a creep.
It does make sense.
No, it does make sense. It makes sense in terms of like dropping reality. So I get what you mean. Like that's something that's more realistically what we're supposed to happen. And I understand Batman's a little more realistic, but I think he still is a superhero. And even if he has moments of weakness, a lot of the fans want to see him be better than that because he's a fantasy.
That's a high expectation that you're already giving Batman. And see, I'm over here defending Batman that's too, and he's not even my favorite.
That's just the thing overall.
And
people just don't.
You're not even thinking about that same way too.
No,
because it's crazy. I get what you. I agree with you guys. You guys get me. I get you guys. I just don't feel like
that should be a worry.
It should be a worry, exactly.
I mean,
that's fair.
I think it was just more of a try to add storyline to what the Killing Joke is instead of just what Batman and Joker is. Like you said, like the first 30 minutes were just unexpected.
I think overall that's probably what they were going for because if they had to start it off from where the very beginning starts with Batman walking up to the asylum and confronting Arkham and confronting the Joker, but then they said, "Well, this is only going to be a 50 minute."
It still plays a good part because, like you said, if he has this connection with Batgirl, where it's like, okay, they shouldn't have done it. It just shows that he's very damaged, and it goes along with the storyline because at the end, he
let it happen.
Yeah, but at the end, Joker still says it. It's like you're as damaged as I am. So like we're basically the same people.
But he wasn't referring to that. He was just overall, it shows that they're both insane. Just that Batman manifests insanity in a different way.
His insanity became sleeping with fucking Batgirl. Yeah. I mean, he's going to go all out. Like you said, you guys just want to see a character that's just, he's a hero, so he has to do everything.
I'm not saying that everything that he has to do has to be heroic. I understand that.
I just think it added a different emotion.
A woman that is your pupil, that's not exactly the best thing of what you would say. It was just a flaw. It was just a mistake. That's not something that I agree with.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you're not going to go out, you're not going to risk your life being with someone that you can't always protect. So if you're with someone that is always with you, you're gonna somehow find this connection with them. So it's like if they're both heroes or they're both vigilantes and can't find something outside of it, why not just do it themselves?
Heroes.
Well, it was meant to be more of a spur of the moment kind of thing. It wasn't meant to be a super romantic thing.
Even if it does happen in that way, that's what I'm saying. You can't neglect the fact that it's things are gonna happen, even though you were expecting the superhero to be perfect.
Not perfect. All right, but here's where my criticism of that scene goes where my criticism of it goes a little beyond just that. The intention is to make Batgirl like a stronger character. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. I don't think she comes across as that.
She doesn't
at all. And she's always pining over some guy or pining over some love interest. She falls for that guy. It was Paris Franz, who like manipulates her and uses the fact that he knows that Batgirl has a crush on her. Like she's so weak that she fell into stupid situations because she had a crush on him. I feel like if you were trying to make Batgirl more empowered, making her just pining over all the love interest in her life is probably not the best way to do that. And maybe you should have had some females writing in the room so females can give it a better
perspective.
So you could get that perspective of what.
I don't agree with you on that because I feel like you're actually thinking of it as a guy's perspective right now. And you literally just said it as a guy's perspective. We're like, maybe we should have brought in female writers. No, I think the guy was actually trying to do that on purpose. We're like, you know what? We can't think like a guy right now.
I know, but I think they
The way they went about it is not the.
It made her look weak. Like she could have been portrayed as a strong character.
Because what do you gotta go through? You gotta go through weakness. You gotta go through phases of weaknesses. What empowers you, bro? You're gonna be powerful right off the bat? No, bro. What does every superhero go through? They go through a moment of weakness. And what did she go through? She
moments
slept,
of weakness.
She went through a moment of weakness, and she slept with the mentor, if you want to say, right? That's not her fault. If anything, it's Batman's fault.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't take that. No. You can't necessarily take that away because
don't agree.
You're saying Batman should know better, right?
Yeah.
So whose fault is it? So whose fault is it then? If Batman should know better.
She's the one who initiated that contact.
But who knows better?
They're both adults.
Okay.
She's 18, 19 years old.
So then you just counter arguing what you just said about Batman knowing what he should have done or them portraying that Batman should have done. No.
Okay, if it makes sense, then they both should have done. They're both at fault.
But you're saying that Batman was the one that's in charge, right? He's the one that he's the one that should know better. Even though she initiated it.
Honestly, they both should.
But you're saying
I backtrack then. They're both consenting adults. They should know better than to engage in an affair like that.
But there's nothing wrong with that affair. Are they married?
Okay, all right. Here's the thing.
There's a lot wrong with it.
Here's the thing why I actually do disagree with you on that front. If it is their fault, it is, yes, both of their fault, but it is more his fault than it is her fault. For one, as you said, she's supposed to be a young girl, and even if she was a strong character, every person is young and dumb and naive and inexperienced.
At a certain moment.
Yeah. Bruce is supposed to be twice her age. He's the one who's in a position that should know better because he's in the position of like knowing that she's coming on to him. Whereas like, yeah, they're both consenting adults, but I think he was still in more of a position where it's a little bit more on him.
And even when you bring in consent.
He was just sexually frustrated, guys. It was sexually frustrated.
And now that you're bringing in consent, there's nothing wrong with the story that I'm talking. The storyline you guys are talking about. There's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with people always find something wrong.
I just think
with
people are talking about the layers underneath and what it says about him as a person. Then obviously there's nothing. Obviously there's nothing. Yeah, I do think that he should have known a little bit more because he's the older one. He's the mentor. He's not the pupil. And he's twice her age, and he knows that she's young.
And this is where I say
people just gotta grow up and stop being little bitches. It all comes
into reality. This all comes into reality. How many? Well, it goes vice versa, whether it's female or male. How many men or women are into someone that's older than them? You know what? Without a doubt, you know what I'm saying? It's I feel like they were trying to go with more realistic vibes on this one. That's all I'm saying. I just felt like they were.
But overall, movie was good.
But I don't neglect anything about it. I like what they did with it.
But honestly, too, and I think this really goes back to what Alan Moore said, and not just there's this aspect that I had a lot of problems with, but when what Alan Moore had said is that from now on, ever since what was it, the Ninth Gate, ever since League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, he didn't want to have any credit for the works that was his works that were being adapted into films.
That includes Watchmen and V for Vendetta.
He doesn't receive any money, any royalty, any kind of acknowledgement. Yeah. And his reasoning is because that his work is supposed to be viewed in a certain aspect and viewed as a comic book, and it's supposed to be read, and there's certain aspects that don't translate 100%. And there's one aspect I found that I think highlights this purpose 100%, and it's something very subtle that you guys probably didn't notice. But in the comic, when Batman is walking into the asylum, and he goes through different areas, you see different villains. Gordon is following him behind, and as they pass Two-Face's cell, you see him. He has his hands outside the door, he's flipping his coin. You see, so they're walking past, and you see from Dent's perspective, and you notice very subtly that Gordon looks back at Two-Face, and I thought it was a very kind of subtle reference to you're only one bad day away. It's like Gordon is looking back on what he could have been, what he could be. And Dent is looking at what he could be if he didn't have that one bad day. So it's just those very subtle nods and those very subtle references to where, because obviously they were men on the side of the law. They fought for good. They believed intrinsically.
It could happen to either one of them.
And it's a foreshadowing for what Gordon was going to go through. That it's a testament of it. Let's see if you were in this position. If you had one bad day, how would you react and how would you go about it? Would you still keep your integrity?
Would you still was doing in the Dark Knight films?
Yeah.
It's pretty much. That's where the Killing Joke, the concept and the idea came from. But so I think it's just also with this whole aspect of I really didn't like this whole relationship and this intimate moment between Batgirl and Batman, but just those little things too that you can't really highlight, you can't really pick up from viewing the movie.
That is true. And with that in mind, that happens with all the DC adaptations. Even the ones that people love and that don't get that backlash still miss subtle little things or nuances. So that's why I think maybe because people already view the Killing Joke as flawed to begin with, things like that get more highlighted on than say like Under the Red Hood, which seems to be a consensus. Everybody loves it. I've heard nothing negative about Under the Red Hood, where people might be willing to overlook, oh, maybe they missed this panel or didn't catch that. But because the Killing Joke already pissed people off to begin with, like, what are you doing with this? You're going to notice a little bit more things like that. But despite my issues that I have, I do think that when it gets to the part that's a Killing Joke, it is overall a pretty damn good adaptation. I thought Kevin Conroy did great. I thought Mark Hamill did incredible. I liked the way it played out. I liked the dialogue, the things that they say to each other. I like the way that they played the end scene where Joker tells Batman the joke, and then like Batman
they both break out in maniacal laughter.
Yeah,
I got that hardcover.
But this is exactly why I tell people too. If you want to look for inspiration, like say you watch The Dark Knight and you really love the Joker, the concept and the art and the direction, the design they took for the Joker, what
Joke.
Yeah, exactly. What would you recommend to where I can see where that inspiration, the source material, or what are good stories I can read about the Joker? Oh, the Killing Joke, and especially for that aspect of there's just little subtle things that you're not as amazing as these portrayals and showing these adaptions are. There's still aspects to where you're going to be able to pick up little subtle things when you maybe it's not something you're going to notice right away. Maybe you have that second reading and you're like, wait a minute, this is something that I noticed. And
what's the difference between comic books and like movies, whether they're live action or animated, is in a comic book when you're reading it, you're taking your time, you're admiring the artwork, and you go through it at your own pace, and you have a chance to like, oh, look at that panel.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
an interesting detail, and you can go look and compare, and it's like, oh, this is what's. When a movie, things just happen like that. And ideally in a movie, it's not designed to be rewound over and over. You're supposed to watch a movie straight through. So just by the nature of what it is, you're not going to get the same amount of detail on something where you take your time and you look through it.
I get what you're saying. It's like you're saying, like, the comics, it's more of your imagination. If you think about it, because your imagination runs wild when you're reading the book. Because, like, when it comes to a comic book, you're only getting certain sections of the story.
But yeah,
and then it's
100%.
And then so that's the way I feel. So I agree with you on that.
So we definitely need to have a topic on that one day where we just talk about the differences between graphic
but
novels.
Overall, I do like the Killing Joke because everything after is good to me.
Pretty much when the actual graphic, where it starts in the graphic novel, which Batman riding up to Arkham to confront the Joker, that's honestly, it's like a 10 out of 10 for me, especially because you have Kevin Conroy's amazing, and Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill's amazing portrayals and reciting the dialogue, which is something I've always read in my mind. Like, I can't wait to see this. And actually, a funny story, too. The Killing Joke was actually the first comic that I read all the way through. And I read it in one sitting as a 21-year-old broke guy in a comic store because I couldn't afford it at the time.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, heartwarming story.
That's actually
heartwarming story on how
it is one of
the
pretty much almost every modern version of the Joker takes some kind of inspiration from the Killing Joke. It is almost like the Bible for portrayals. Like, ever since there's the Joker before the Killing Joke and the Joker after the Killing Joke, ever since that graphic novel was published, every version of the Joker since then, even aspects of Batman 89 incorporated the Killing Joke. They actually, that was one of the things that they read. Like, every version since has taken some kind of something from the Killing Joke. You cannot have modern day Joker without
from that Dark Series comics. What's it called? The Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah.
Even that Joker in that series.
I think, inspiration from the
like I said,
Joke.
it's actually very interesting for the fact that Alan Moore really doesn't like this story
Alan
and
Moore
would go back and would do it differently. Alan Moore's a little bit of a weirdo, but I mean, just in general, it's kind of funny.
He's a genius, though.
We're all weirdos.
I think all geniuses are weirdos, but
we're all
in general, that's why it's just funny how you would think that. With all that being said, that the writer would be proud or at least taking some kind of pride in their work, saying that, oh, this is one of the best Batman stories ever, or this is the inspiration for so many different iterations of this character who's one of the best villains in all comics and just in general.
No, he hates
and it. And it's actually really funny.
He
so
trashes it all the time.
It's very ironic, honestly. But with all that being said, that's actually all the time we have for today. We thank you guys so much for joining us on the Heroes and Mutants podcast, your number one source of superhero talk, knowledge, information, discussions, and 3 out of 4 good lookingness with all these guys. I feel like if we were Green Lantern Corps, I would probably be Guy Gardner.
Shut up, Nick.
I feel like I'd be Guy Gardner.
All
if you guys don't
self-deprecation.
understand that reference, look up Guy Gardner. Nobody likes him. Yeah, I'm actually kind of sad now.
It's okay.
I love you guys too. But thank you guys so much for joining us. And make sure to follow us on Higher Passion Entertainment on IG, because we're going to be doing a lot of polls and a lot of ways for you guys to contribute to future discussions and also free giveaways in the future.
Yeah,
and make sure to check out our other podcasts. We have Rap Beats Melody, where we talk about hip-hop, Sports Dogs, obviously sports, and a lot of new podcasts coming up. So make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, Higher Passion Entertainment. Follow us on IG. We'll see you next time. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And before we get going, now you guys all know we here at Higher Passion Entertainment offer you so many different podcasts like we talked about to get you going. But if you ever wondered how we produce these shows so fast and with dope quality, we work with our friends here at Productive Culture. Productive Culture offers full service recording, mixing, mastering, and podcast production. If you guys want to get your podcast going, hit them up and go to productivecultures.com/podcast and tell them Higher Passion Entertainment sent you, and you're going to get a discount on your first episode. Plus, your referral helps us out, so don't forget to go to productiveculture.com/podcast and let them Higher Passion Entertainment sent you. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Peace and love is peace.